Happy Halloween and welcome into NFL Daily Playoff Picture Breakdown. Coming up for you guys on today's show following Thursday Night Football with the Ravens picking up the win. Before we get into that, let's have some fun. What is the best Halloween candy? Drop it for me in the comments section of today's show. First, a brief overview of where things currently sit in the NFC playoff picture. By the way, no clinching or elimination scenarios yet. We might get to one in the not too distant future. Packers are actually in first place in the NFC with a tie, 5-5-1. Eagles, Bucks, with the Eagles having the tiebreaker there as the 2 seed. Seattle has the tiebreaker over the Rams and then a half game ahead of the 49ers. Lions are the number 5 seed. So 7 teams with 5 wins there. Others, Bears, Panthers, Cowboys, everyone else. We'll discuss everybody at some point on today's show. In the AFC, the Colts are the number 1 seed at 7-1. Patriots are 2. Broncos are at 3. And the Steelers are at number 4. As we'll get into, they're not even favored to win the division. We'll come back to that here in a little bit. Bills, Chargers, Chiefs. And go figure, the game of the week, which I think we all agree is Bills-Chiefs, is technically a wild card only matchup. We'll come back to all these teams. Let's go more in depth to start with the Indianapolis Colts. Week 9, they are on the road at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their schedule is not that daunting. Atlanta, KC, Houston, Jags, going to be a tough game. Seattle too, but Niners, Jags again, Houston. The Colts are already 7-1. The next-gen stats, you'll see that on each of these graphics here. The playoff probability is 95% for Indy. If they win, it would jump to 98% because practically they would need 1 or 2 more wins over the course of the season. The Patriots are the number 2 seed right now. They are 6-2. At this time. They got the Falcons this upcoming week, 84% win probability right now. The schedule is really easy. Bucks is a tough one, but Jets, Bengals, Giants, Bills, Jets again, Ravens, Dolphins. This is a double-digit win team, I think, pretty easily. Number 3, the Denver Broncos. This is against the Las Vegas Raiders coming up after Week 9. Currently 80% playoff probability. They've been hot as of late. They've been able to pick up some wins and have done some, I think, pretty impressive stuff over the course of the season to kind of get back on track after, maybe a bit of a slow start earlier this campaign. So that is the update on that front for the Denver Broncos. Now, who do you think is the best team in the AFC? Let me know in the comment section of today's show who is the best team in the AFC. Maybe it's not even one of these top teams, but let me know in the comment section of today's show. Number 4, the Pittsburgh Steelers are next up here. They have kind of faded a little bit as the season continues to go on and things kind of stagnate a little bit for Pittsburgh. The schedule is kind of tough, actually. Colts and Chargers are 2 tough games in a row. They still have notable games against the Bills, the Ravens. A lot to get into. We'll get to it for the Ravens side of it. But make note, the playoff probability for the Steelers is 48%. That is not the current favorite in the AFC. Or at least it's not as obvious as you think it would be for a 4-3 team right now. Number 5, the Buffalo Bills. They got a great matchup this week against the Chiefs. Schedule, I think, is manageable. 87%, which is kind of funny to see a team that, it's spreads, it's projections where they're ranked. They have a higher playoff probability than the team that is ahead of them in the current AFC East race. That later game at New England might have a lot of implications for division standings, playoff seeding, everything else on that front. Today's show is made possible by Ethos. As a father of 2 kids, it's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened to you, but you do need to be prepared. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Ethos is a trustworthy company and disrupts the traditional life insurance industry. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the number 1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos is an online platform that makes getting life insurance fast and easy to protect your family's future in minutes, not months. There is no complicated process, and it's 100% online. No medical exam is required. You just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ETHOS.com/NFL Daily. Application times may vary and rates may vary. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Over to the Chargers, number 6 right now in the AFC playoff picture. The Titans game should be pretty manageable for them. Only a 67% playoff win probability. Kind of indication of like how much these games matter. They beat the Titans. Their playoff probability per Next Gen Stats jumps from 67 to 74. That's not that much. They lose, it drops down to 52 because the probability is they're already going to win this game. Number 7 is the Chiefs, 81%. I think they're getting back on the right track. Tough couple games here for KC, by the way. Bills, Broncos, and Colts. Then the schedule does set up a little bit more manageable for a couple of these games down the stretch. You can win at least one, but maybe 2 of them. KC is once again immediately back, not just for the number 1 seed conversation, but as being the best team in football. Let's discuss the bubble teams here on today's show. Now, of note, I'm focusing on teams that have at least a 5% win probability. So if it changes next week, we'll change this list. In order, Jags are number 8. Brutal news on Travis Hunter, by the way. Hopefully he doesn't miss the rest of the season, but we'll see. Houston Texans, number 9, 41%. Remember, you can win the division and make it as a wild card team. 4-3 and 3-4 there. The Bengals are the 10 seed if the season ended right now. They have a 5% win probability. The loss against the Jets really put them into a negative standpoint there. Fresh off back-to-back wins, the Ravens are actually favored in the AFC North, 61%. Remember, you get some playoff, wild card boosts there as well. The Browns are 3%, so we're not going to count them. Who wins the AFC North this year? S for the Steelers, B for the Bengals, R for the Ravens. Get those predictions in for me right now. I'm not doing the Browns, I'm sorry. S, B, or R. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Then the sub 5% teams. The Browns are higher up because they're closer to the AFC North title than the Raiders are to the Broncos and Chiefs right now. 2% for the Raiders, 3% for the Browns. Less than 1% across the board for the Dolphins, Jets, and Titans. The Titans win wouldn't even increase their playoff probability. That's how far down they are. All right, NFC, as promised. Packers have that number 1 seed for now, 5-1-1. I think a bit of a delineation between the top 7, but the Bears are not that far behind the 49ers as things sit right now. And then there's a lot of teams that are hovering sub 20% to make the postseason. Green Bay right now is at 92%. They do play in a very challenging division of note, by the way. They got a upcoming game against Carolina they should be able to win. Good game against the Eagles, by the way, coming up in Week 10. That one would have significant impacts potentially for seeding and division and all that good stuff. Eagles are on bye this week, by the way, so their next game is going to be on the road at Green Bay. 92% probability. That could change slightly going into next week based on what other teams do, but we're at the point where this early in the season, what you do ends up having a far greater impact, so that Next Gen Stats not even showing that change there. Now, we will have really weekly playoff picture videos for you right here on the channel, so do not miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/chatsportstv for more free videos. Let's go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here as well. They are also on bye against the Patriots. Coming up after that week, then the Bills. So you get back-to-back AFC East matchups there. Rams as well, 91%. I don't think the NFC South is overly daunting on that front. Number 4, the Seattle Seahawks. They will take on the Washington Commanders in prime time Sunday Night Football. 75% right now on the win probability side. And then some very key games in division, Cardinals and then Rams. I've been impressed by Seattle, the defense, and Sam Darnold as well. The Detroit Lions have the Vikings coming up in Week 9, then key games against the Commanders and Eagles following that. 84% win probability right now. They're favored in this game. I think that the question is, can they catch the Packers? Can anybody catch the Packers in the NFC North? A very tough division where they were all above 500 until the Vikings lost last week. Who do you think is the best team in the NFC? Let me know in the comment section of today's show. Number 6, the LA Rams taking on the Saints this upcoming weekend. A very high here, 92% win probability. It is actually higher or play probability than any of the other NFC West teams. So again, the Rams kind of being viewed as the favorite right now. Key games against the Niners and Seahawks coming up after they, in theory, take care of the Tyler Shuck-led Saints. The Niners, if they were healthy, I think they would have a much higher win probability. Almost have to beat the Giants, given what you have coming up, where you still got the Panthers and Titans and other games to play, but multiple playoff teams could be on this schedule as well with the Rams and Colts and Seahawks down the stretch. And that Bears game looming large in Week 17 of like, hey, could that be an elimination game for a wild cards standpoint? Who ends up winning the NFC West? R for the Rams, 4 for the 49ers, S for the Seahawks. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Let's discuss the bubble teams. I've got the cutoff here, so it's a bit higher for the NFC side. Bears, 28%. That loss against the Ravens kind of stings pretty badly. Could have put them at 5-2, right there in the mix. Now they're a game behind instead. Carolina's at 500, but just a 15% win probability. They could almost double that if they could beat the Packers, which is going to be tough. The Cowboys, 3, 4, and 1 are at 14%. They're not out of it, but their schedule is so tough down the stretch. They have to almost beat Arizona. Number 11, the Atlanta Falcons, 19%, because they apparently think it's easier to win the division than the NFC East is, which, you know what, might be fair. Also, half game they haven't played yet compared to the Dallas Cowboys. Minnesota is at just 10%, has not gone their way. We'll see if the return of J.J. McCarthy can get them going beyond that. The Commanders are at 12%, which I am a little bit surprised by at 3 and 5. They are better chance than Minnesota. Maybe that's some boosts for the quarterback play with Jaden Daniels. Then the 3 bottom feeders, all 2-win teams, less than 5%. Arizona is at 3%. They win. They jump to 5. We could put them back into the conversation next week. Giants at 2%. Saints are at -1%.